Hello, welcome to today's Blissful cooking class. We're going to be making this cashew crunch salad. It's not my own creation. It's a wonderful one that I'm sharing from, oh my gosh, I'm blanking right now. The Pinch of Yum blog, which has all kinds of great stuff. And I'm going to be using tofu today. So we're going to make our thing. I've shown you guys this a bunch of times now, so you're going to start to really get used to it. Tofu that I cook with tamari, and we're going to put all kinds of other yummy veggies. I didn't have much cabbage, so I'm using a little bit of cauliflower. I didn't have enough cilantro, so I've got some Thai basil and some mint as well to add into the mix. So of course, I believe, like everything, that we should be flexible. We should use what we have around and use what we like. So I'll be displaying that very soon. But before we get into it, let's set our intention for how we want to be, how we want to feel for the next little while as we cook together. Let's place our hands at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Take a deep inhale, slow, long exhale. And just allow your intention to drop in. Pardon. And really feel it, visualize it. Wonderful. And now let's do 3 Viloma breaths. This is a 3-part breath where we're going to inhale the first third or so, the bottom of the lung. And then the middle. And then the very top. And then we hold it at the peak, and then we exhale completely. Pressing it all the way out to the bottom. So let's try that again. Inhale. Here, one moment, I'm just having, let's make sure that my situation, yes, we're good. It's the recording. Sorry about that. We're going to inhale to the bottom. Pause. The middle. And the top. And then exhale. One more time, the bottom. Pause, middle, pause, and top. And exhale. Now we're going to reverse it. Sorry, something's in my throat. So we're going to inhale fully all the way to the top. And then we're going to exhale the top. Pause. The middle. Pause. And the bottom. Inhale fully. And exhale the top, middle, and bottom. Last one, inhale fully. Exhale on top, middle, and bottom. Wonderful. What this breath really does is it just kind of interrupts, because we're interrupting it, but we're choosing when to interrupt it. So what that does is it sort of takes, we have this tendency to breathe in a particularly patterned way in our life. For example, Oh my goodness. I need to get some water or something. It's ridiculous. Sorry about that. Him. Ha. We have this tendency to breathe, not tendency, but just natural thing. It's human to breathe in a particularly patterned way in our life. So, for example, if you have a lot of anxiety or if you're in a lot of pain, you will tend to hold your breath a lot. And you may do it at different points during a breath, or you may do it like hold your breath in or take really shallow breaths. And we do this without thinking all the time because we, of course, are breathing all the time. We're not thinking about our breath all the time. And when we do this breath, what we're doing is we're bringing our full awareness to the breath, which is, of course, what we do every time we do a breath work of any kind. But in this one, we're actually actively noticing the smooth flow of the air into our body. And we're saying, okay, we're going to stop. We're going to interrupt it on purpose. We're going to have our awareness of that. And we do that multiple times. And as we do that, it kind of resets it so that it actually begins to feel smoother and more natural to go smoothly because we kind of interrupted whatever that pattern was with our new pattern, if that makes any sense. That's sort of how it's supposed to work. And I find that it's very effective. That's how it feels. But please let me know. Comment. Let me know if that is how it works for you. That's sort of the intention. So let's get started on the actual food. We're going to start with our tofu. And you can skip this step if you have a different protein in mind, or if you're not even using a protein, you don't actually need to add extra. Oh my gosh, look how funny that is. I chopped a hunk of purple cabbage here earlier. And so this has the purple, has the purple dye on it now. That's kind of beautiful. So I am doing a very loose job of this, but I'm going to cube it. Ooh, that fun. Feels pretty satisfying to cut them all together like that. Fun. I just have a couple left. Try to keep it the same size. I think I did 5 across width and then 4 across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's like a pretty standard size block of firm tofu. That's all. And now I'm going to get some heat on here, about half, like a medium heat, and then I'm going to fill it with some oil. Drizzle a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of oil in there, just to cover the bottom. It's not like frying. So funny, the feelings that sort of come up when you just slow down for a moment. And let yourself just be exactly where you are. I just felt this sort of wave of relaxation. I've been feeling very kind of go and excited all morning. And to be here right now and kind of go, okay, it's time to just wait for that to warm up before we add this in. It's like I had this resistance to it in that moment of like, I should be doing something else while I can. I don't need to be. It actually feels quite good to just listen to, I guess, the sound of the gas on the stove and just feel the sort of light vitality, vibration of my body right now, just in connection with that. Just a light feeling of the oneness with everything in the universe, just here right now as we're cooking. All right, here goes the tofu. And truthfully, doing this for sort of the best result, I would recommend doing this in 2 batches, but I just can't be bothered. The reason to do it in 2 batches is just because you'll have more of them touching the bottom. It won't be so, the crowded pan is not such a good thing when we're wanting to have sort of even cooking and brownness. But I'm just not feeling it. So, and now I'm going to drizzle tamari all over. Probably overall, we're talking like a tablespoon of tamari. And now I'm just going to use this spatula to just give everything a stir to make sure that the tamari is coating everything. And as much as possible, that the tofu pieces are all hitting the pan. I'm going to show you super quick what it looks like over here. Just like that. Okay, that's it. Now we'll just let them go for a bit while we do our other stuff. And our other stuff is, we're going to start with the dressing, which is, oh my gosh, oh, here we go. Olive oil. You can use the quantities in this. I'm going to sort of eyeball it, and I'm making a smaller quantity because it's just for myself. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this. I think it's like a 1/4 cup or so. I use this amount of olive oil. And then I use white vinegar in theirs, but I'm going to use rice vinegar because that's what I have. And not as much of that as the oil. And then sesame oil, toasted sesame oil. Now, toasted sesame oil is very strong, but they do want a powerful amount of that flavor in here. So I'm using, I don't know, what I'd say is sort of equal amounts, like a 1/4. Maybe that was like a teaspoon or so. And then now I'm using some garlic powder, which is not something I would normally put in. I don't really use garlic powder particularly, but I'm going to trust this recipe, give it a try. It's a little moist. So it's kind of sticking together. I'm going with this. Okay. I don't know if that's enough. You do a little bit more because it needs to go in the whole salad. Okay. All right. Garlic powder and salt. And then they also do sugar in theirs, but I'm going to use maple syrup because it's the same. And then it's a flowing thing. And then it's got a little more flavor, I think. And then, so that's sort of the vinaigrette version. And then she, I know, also likes to add some dairy, some mayonnaise or yogurt. And so I'm going to use some labneh, I think. But I just wanted to taste it first without the dairy in it. See what it's like. Oh, it's good. Sesame oil, so freaking good. And the sweetness from the maple syrup, I love it. Wow. That exceeded my expectations. What fun. I'm going to blow up a little labneh in here. Labneh is kefir cheese. It's like really a lot like sour cream. It's delicious. Oh my gosh. That much better. Phenomenal. I'm excited. Wow. Really happy with that. Could be I'm also just in such a good mood, you know? What I mean, sometimes food, everything tastes better when you're already happy. And that's the magic of food, is sometimes you're like, do I like this or am I just so happy? And if you were introduced to a food, it's like how, food tastes so good on vacation. And sometimes it's because we're in these wonderful places and we're doing new things, but it's also because we're actually paying attention to what is happening in front of us and we're appreciating it and we're there. And so if we can be that way in more of our lives, we can actually have those types of experiences more frequently. That's kind of the point of developing this blissful cooking practice, actually, is that we can bring that, when we have that presence, we can notice just how much pleasure is actually around us all the time. Unbelievable how lucky we are. And it's just because we're human beings, not because we're particularly lucky or we're particularly privileged people. It's because we're human and we're actually built to run on pleasure, to be motivated by it, to seek it. And that's a good thing about us. It helps us. It helps us figure out what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to move, how we're supposed to be, how we can best contribute to the rest of our community. Woo! All right. Leanne's magnificent soapbox. So I'm going to take this. They had two kinds of cabbage in the recipe, but I just have purple right now. So that's what I'm using. I'm just going to slice it into strips. Oh, I don't like that. There's just a bit of yuck on here, so I'm going to... Some of these strips are a little long, so I'm just going to cut it this way. It doesn't look as beautiful when you do this, but I find it's kind of nicer to eat because really long strips of cabbage are kind of just awkward. Cabbage. So as not to purple up everything. Half this cute little cauliflower I got. Get rid of the leaves. Just really roughly chopping the cauliflower. I'm wanting it to be fairly small because I do think raw cauliflower is not something we want to have huge chunks of. Let's check on our tofu. It's sounding sizzly. I'm going to, okay. This is going great. Ha! You know what? Even though the pan's a little crowded, it's working out just fine. Glorious. That's what it looks like. The tamari sort of soaks up into the tofu beautifully. And you have to do so little. Sometimes it's just, I laugh at all these things marinated overnight and all these things. It's this is so good. And all you do is just chop it. I don't even drain the tofu. And I just pour this over in the pan directly and it tastes phenomenal. It just sometimes feels you're shouldn't things be harder than this? I was always told that life is hard, This is the message that we received, or certainly the one that I received was things to be good, they have to be difficult. You have to really struggle. And I hate to, no, I don't hate, I like love to be the bearer of good news. It's like, no, a lot of things that are amazing are really easy. And it's just that simple. You're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to like have to pay for it. It's just actually easy. A lot of life is easier than we think. I don't know where these messages, well, I do kind of have some intellectual understanding of where these types of messages come from and why they're there. And it really is like power and control in our culture. If we're all free and know how easy and beautiful our lives could be, will we do what we're told? I don't know. But anyway, okay, what am I doing? I'm making like a very interesting, going for creativity points here with the carrots. Sort of slice them at an angle. Now I'm slicing them really fine. Just having fun today. Putting all my colors together. What I love about a sort of assembly salad like this, and this is such a good recipe for the summertime and for entertaining actually, something like this. You make this and everyone's happy, it's filling, it's fantastic, it's delicious, it's healthy. It's like all the things you want to be eating, and it's colorful, and it really is just assembling a few things, and it's cold. And then we have edamame, which is like the shelled, they're already shelled. I buy mine frozen. I have only ever had edamame frozen. And so this was just defrosted in the microwave really quickly. That's it. And then they're good to go. Add the edamame. And then let's check on our friend the tofu. Just moving it around, flipping them over, that kind of thing. So we're going to do 2 scallions. I'm going to take a breath and not be so impatient. Chopping off the ends, getting rid of the little papery bits that aren't so yummy, aren't so fresh. Great. And then nice fine chop on these. Wonderful. Scallions. And now we're going to see what we can salvage from here. Got some mint. Woo! Looks okay. Oh, smells wonderful. Okay, not so good there. Ooh. The cilantro is looking rough, but that's okay. That part's okay. That too. It's one of those things where I put in the fridge door and just forgot about it. It's like didn't notice it. My gaze just like blasted over it. You know what I mean? When you're sort of used to something looking a particular way and you just don't see it. which is a wonderful way our minds, our brains sort of organize us so we don't have to be overwhelmed by stuff around us and new information all the time. But sometimes it means you let your nice herbs go. Yeah, they're getting too dried out to really use for this, but I could use them for cooking. Like by that I mean I could put some of these this dried basil in like a stir fry or something. It would still be good. But I think for this salad, we're at our limit. So this isn't going to be as herbaceous as it is ideally, but I think it's going to be pretty wonderful still. And that smells just so good. Mint and basil together are pretty incredible. And now a whole bunch of cashews. And I've got salted cashews. I bought them salted. I don't usually, because they kind of go overboard on the salt when you get them pre-salted, and these really are very salted. So you do you, but they should be roasted. I think that's important for the flavor here. At least for me, for my palate. Again, always question what someone is telling you about taste. Think about it. It's wonderful to have it as a guide, but if you're like, no, I want it raw, do it. Right. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle says the tofu. And that is the last thing we're waiting on here. And as you can see with this, I'm going to be teaching, I'm working on a 5-week cohort class where I really teach some of these skills around cooking and how to cook without a recipe, how to cook, how to like develop flexibility and feel better, feel less anxious, feel more like you know what you're doing, to feel confidence, and ultimately to be able to cook for a holiday meal and for other people without getting stressed out or worried or feeling like you can't do it. That's sort of the point of the course. And one of the things that I'm really trying to teach is the sort of flexibility aspect, like figuring out what you can, trying to really express how we can mix and match what we want. And so a recipe like this is so great for understanding that. Like, this is a bunch of vegetables all put together with some sauce. Like, you decide exactly how it'll be. It's going to taste kind of like this and kind of like this. And you can like experiment all you want and notice how easy and good it is to have a totally different experience just by changing a few things. And I want you to begin to take that in, that you can do that in these simple ways, and that means that you're not like stuck. You don't have to like look up a recipe and get all the exact right ingredients and have like a gazillion tubes of something you only use once. You can cook with the food that you have around. You can develop your own style and your own sort of pantry of the stuff that you like to have around. And you can keep it really simple if you have goals about like saving money and just wanting to keep it simple. You can do that too, like anything. What I want you to feel at the end of the course is confident that you can make cooking work in your life and that you have every right to it, and that it's going to be blissful and magnificent and make you feel good. It's not going to be anything that stresses you out. Okay. Yeah, our tofu is good. I'm going to bring it over to show you. I'm not going to use all of this. Still sizzling. As you can see, it's not every side got as perfectly cooked as every other side. And that's sort of the trade-off when you do a really full pan like this. I don't think it's a big deal. And I think overall, wow, that one's really stuck. you end up with something with a variety of texture, and it's still really good, and it's quick. So I'm going to use, I don't know, I'm just going to kind of eyeball the amount that I want to add, like half this pan. Maybe it would be better to wait till it's cooled, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. And the rest of this I'll have in something else later. Ooh. Bottom of my pan. Leaving a mark there. Okay. I just need some tongs. Okay. And so we're going to add most of this dressing, I think, to begin with, and then see if we need it all. I think we're going to need it all because I didn't really make all that much. This is quite a lot. This is quite a lot, rather. This has got like a hearty coleslaw kind of vibe to it. Yeah, that's good, but you know what? Let's use it all because it's, yeah, make it a little slooshier. But this is great. I'm happy with the quantity here, actually. Yum! So excited. Look how pretty that is. Okay. I'm going to plate it on something just so you can see it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. How great is that? I think I was pointed to this recipe by my friend Maggie, who runs the Planetarian Life, which is this sort of idea of being a vegetarian or planetarian. You're eating sort of for the planet, and so it's all quite plant-based. And this is one of her go-to meals. And she has this pantry that's like the Planetarian Pantry, and it uses so many of these staples. Check that out if you're interested. Very different and kind of cool approach, very modular. There's a lot of sort of specific help and information to organize your pantry. It's not really like my style's a lot more free fluid, but if you resonate with a bit more sort of integration like that and clarity, I would really recommend checking them out. Okay. Super happy with that. This is everything I like to eat. It's crispy, cool, and also actually a little warm from these little crunchy tofus. And it's going to last. I think in the original recipe they add chow mein into that. It's not really, I wasn't feeling it, but if you are, do it. All right, I'm gonna have to say bye because I'm really excited to eat this. It's been a pleasure. As always, tell your friends, join us, make requests, let me know what you want, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.